today I'm going to be giving you guys a presentation. I want to talk to you about something that I think is pretty important, and I chose as my topic for my public health class. This is my last class, so my big presentation, and it's on human trafficking. So you might think, well, we live in rural Southern Illinois. Why do we need to talk about this? This isn't something that we interact or could happen to us. Well, that's not really true. It actually is. Most people think that human trafficking is something that only happens in big cities and that, you're not vulnerable to it. Well, that's actually untrue. In fact, very recently, within a month ago, and I got this information from someone who works for the Illinois State Police. There was a situation that happened in Johnson City, which isn't too awfully far from here, about an hour away, over by Carbondale, where on two different occasions, a couple young girls, teenage girls, there was an attempt made to abduct both of them, two separate occasions. So same vehicle both times, so they didn't catch them, unfortunately. But so only to say that it is something that happens in smaller areas, so I think you need to know about it. Okay, so the focus of my presentation is to educate parents and especially teens on what human trafficking is and ways that you should protect yourself. So start off with the definition. This term includes both sex and labor trafficking, so it's either one. Not everybody that is abducted or trafficked is trafficked for the purpose of sex. Some of them are trafficked for the purpose of labor, like to work for them, So it's both. By definition, it's the act of recruiting, harboring, moving them all over the country even, or obtaining a person by force, fraud, or coercion, faulty promises, for the purpose of involuntary servitude, debt bondage, or sexual exploitation. And that came from Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000. According to Healthy People 2020, which is a website that you can look up, anyone can, you can obtain a lot of information about public health issues from multitudes of things. So if you're ever trying to research a topic, especially a health-related topic, drunk driving is one, anything health-related, that's a place you can go. But according to that, 21.3 physical assaults per 1,000 people aged 12 and over occurred in 2008 alone, and these numbers have and are continuing to rise. As of 2017, this is a big one, Illinois ranked as the 11th in the nation for human trafficking. We have to remember we do have big Chicago, but that's a really high number. So, and we're still high on the list. All right, so my objectives of this, what I want you to get out of it is I want you to be able to identify the tactics that are used by human traffickers, how they lure people, what they do, and recognize and speak to the at-risk populations that are targeted. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not at risk just because you don't fall under one of the categories, but there are certain categories of people that are at a higher risk. They're the most at risk. And one of the things that you can learn from this is not only for yourself, but for your friends and people that you interact with. Identify prevention methods to decrease your vulnerability and vulnerability of your friends. Speak to the online risks associated with human trafficking, because there's a lot of online risks, as well as the resources available. When you might suspect that human trafficking is taking place, there are some really good online sources that you can go to, or maybe refer a friend to. Okay, so here let's talk about the tactics. What do they do? What do these skillful actors and salespeople do? Because that's basically what they are. They're actors. They're playing a part to get what they want, and they are salespeople. They are selling themselves, or selling a story, or selling a persona to get you to do what they want you to do. Okay, so they may appear as though they're trying to help someone. So they may come across like they want to help you. They want to, provide you with something you need, or help you in a situation that they think it looks like you're in, or, if, let's just say, for example, they saw you upset, they might try to help you and provide you with comfort or a need that they think you maybe have. Let's say they notice that, you might like to have a new pair of shoes. They may offer to help with that. So they're really skillful at that kind of thing. They may try to help in the way of basic needs, anything very small, to maybe buying you some food or something, to something extravagant like, you've got beautiful hair, let's get you to a salon and let someone, they could just really make you look gorgeous. So extravagances, maybe a new purse, new pair of shoes. You might notice a guy is really, looks like a real sporty guy. Maybe he wants, to do basketball, I don't know, but things like that, okay. Their ultimate goal is to make the person feel like they owe them. So in other words, do these things over and over again for a while, and pretty soon, now you owe me. And now I'm going to tell you, oh, I did all of this for you, and now you owe me. That's something that they will do. Another thing they might do is try to come across like a talent scout. Like, you seem like such a talented person. Or you've got great, I can see you would be great in movies. Or you're beautiful, you're a handsome guy, you'd be a great model. I can get you on a Calvin Klein ad, anything like that. And it may sound silly, but this is what they do, and they do it well. Not as well as I'm doing it right now, standing in front of you. This is not my skill. But another thing is they frequent places that teens go. So malls, concerts, sporting events, maybe hanging out after the sporting event. Just, can you see where they just you're coming out of the game, start talking to you about the game. Man, that was a great game. Can you believe this or that? And before you know it, you've walked out to your car and there you are. So, just be mindful of things like that. Parks, bus stops, close to schools. Again, not something that's really in your area, but it's still definitely in Belleville, for sure is. Popular fast food places, especially those that are close to interstates. Okay, that would be a vulnerable place. Bars and coffee shops, Starbucks. Everybody thinks they're safe at Starbucks, but maybe not so much, so be careful. And then there's social media scouts. So these people are really good at knowing how to lure kids, lure teens off of social media. How to say the right thing and appear the right way. So you have to be real careful with your social media accounts, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is. All right, next. So this was the at-risk population I was talking to you about. So again, just because you don't feel like you fit in one of these categories doesn't mean it's not somebody that maybe does. So runaways, foster kids, gangs, juvenile justice system kids. Look at it this way, any group of individuals that maybe have a need that isn't being met at home or is being met by their peers. Foster kids, that's not their normal home, so they just in general have a unmet need going into that environment. They're at a risk. Gangs, the idea of a gang is that you are indebted to a certain group of people. You have to do certain things to get in the gang. You have to do certain things to maintain your status in the gang. So that's a group there. Adolescents who are routinely unsupervised. They don't have someone who's constantly looking in on them, checking in on them, making sure that they are where they're supposed to be with, not with certain individuals. So that makes this group of kids vulnerable. Teens with poor self-esteem, who are seeking maybe validation, attention, love, and affection. They're looking for it. They gotta, they're an easy target. Again, just because you don't fit into one of those, I bet you can think of some of your friends who maybe do, or kids And then there's the LGBTQ youth. And I was pretty shocked to see that in 2016, so this was 4 years ago, 54.5% of sex trafficked young adults identified into this category. That's over half. That's a ton. So, and I'm not sure whether this statistic actually means they identified that way before or after. That doesn't really matter. One way or another, they were vulnerable to this. Okay? So keep that in mind too. Okay, so these are some ways I want you to think about protecting yourself. You need to always be keenly aware of your surroundings. Always have your eyes up and your head looking around. You know, don't have such tunnel vision that you don't see what's going on around you, especially at night. Maybe you're coming out of a store, maybe you're coming, again, not right now because everything's closed down, but maybe you're coming out of a movie theater or a ball game. So make sure that you are paying attention. Try not to walk alone, and that goes for girls and guys, you know. Don't just, you know, as much as possible, don't be by yourself. If you're suspicious, if something doesn't look right, then you need to act fast. There's no harm in being wrong. I think about when we were in Chicago and we were walking down the road and all the stores that were open, you know, there's always somewhere you can run into, somewhere you can go. You know, even if you're walking in a rural community, there's some house you can go bang on, you know, to try to get somebody's attention. So act fast. This would be a good time to be wrong. Don't be an easy target. You know, don't be walking to your car looking down at your phone. Don't be oblivious to the world around you. You know, when you're walking up to your car, one of the things that I was reading said a really good thing you can do is walk up to the back of your vehicle so that you can look into the back seat before you get in. You know, and that way you can kind of scan your trunk too. See if maybe something doesn't look right. You'll be able to tell if it's cracked or something. Another thing, everybody's always got their phone in their hand. So turn your light on your phone and shine it under your vehicle before you get in. Make sure that, you know, nobody's there. As you're walking up to your car, take your keys and carry everybody's got a big key usually now. Carry your key between your fingers. Just carry it like that. You can get in the habit of it. And that's a weapon. If you ever need to fight, it's ready to go. Okay, that brings me to the next one. You're ready for anything with your keys. If you have pepper spray, you can buy pepper spray now, buy it anywhere. Make a scene, yell, fight, scream, whatever you have to do to alert somebody that something's not right. If someone were to try to lure you, take you, coerce you, whatever. Okay. As far as social media goes, do your research. You know, background checks. You know, I'm in my profession, I get on social media to look people up sometimes, especially if I'm interviewing someone. It's really easy to do. So you can really do that for anyone. Do a background check, look people up, investigate. You know a lot of people, so don't just take things for face value. People can tell you anything. That doesn't mean it's true. Only meet strangers in public places, and that goes for a very long time. Just because maybe you've met them and you know them 2 or 3 times, that doesn't mean you're good old friends and you've known each other forever. You still need to make sure that when you're with those people or that individual, that you're with them in a public place. All right, this is a really good one. Say no and watch for the reaction. So, you know, you can always tell something about someone whenever you tell them no and you see how they react to that. And this would be like in a relationship, you know, because sex traffickers aren't always people you don't know. Sometimes there are people that you do know, people maybe you've known for a long time. There's not like a book or a rule that says they fit into these categories all the time. So one of the things that is good to do is to say no to someone and just see how they respond to that. You know, does it bring out this possessive nature in them? Does it bring out a kind of an abusive side or a scary side? So that's something good to keep in mind. And you need to know your phone numbers. Don't count on your phone, because if somebody took your phone from you and you didn't know the phone numbers that you need to get a hold of somebody, you're going to be in trouble. So make sure that you memorize certain phone numbers, like your parents, maybe your best friend, another trusted adult. Make sure that you know at least 3 phone numbers. And then, again, be very cautious with social media. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. Okay, next. Here's some details about that. For social media, strangers should not be commenting on your posts or your pictures. If you see that strangers are doing that, delete them. You don't even want to have any contact with them. There's no good reason for that, okay? Again, that's where you use your private investigator skills, research. Don't use your full name. Come up with a different name. Something where it's not easily traced to you. And then make sure that you tell that to 3 trusted closest people to you. Keep a close eye on your privacy settings. You don't want everything public. Everything should not be public. Avoid checking into places. Everybody doesn't need to know where you are all the time. Again, 3 people that are most trusted to you. Location share only with select people. Again, recommend 3 of your closest friends or family members. It's really important that at least 3 people know how to find you if they ever need to. So make sure that you have this set up, okay? But it shouldn't be everybody, okay? Do not post nude or racy photos, because once it's there, it's always there. You can screenshot anything, as we know, okay? Parents, this is for parents. This is for me and your dad. Monitor your teens' accounts and know their passwords. I know you guys probably think that's crazy, but for all of these reasons we talked about, that's why it's important, especially when you have some good-looking kids like we do. Thanks, Mom. You're welcome. Never post anything that indicates trouble at home. And that was something that I didn't think of, because that's a lure. That goes back to them trying to help you and make things better, and now you have a need that makes you vulnerable. So keep that in mind too. All right, this is long. I'm gonna go through these quickly, but these are red flags for parents, and I want you guys to know these as well, because you can think about your friends, okay? These are some red flags. Frequently missing school. If you have friends that are frequently missing school, you have to wonder what's going on there, right? Older boyfriend or girlfriend, and I mean older, like you're 16, like 21. What's that about? Suddenly possessing expensive items. You know they can't afford them, but they have them, and how did that happen? Sudden change in dress or appearance. Unusual new tattoo. That's crazy what all these tattoos can mean, Unexplained cash. A second cell phone. Like, why does someone have a second cell phone? To kind of wonder if you ever run across that, you have to really start, ask some questions. Looking back as an adult now, I actually did know some individuals that had a second cell phone. So as an adult now, I think, wow, I wonder why. Hotel room keys, a fake ID, a new modeling job. All of a sudden your friend tells you, I just got this great job, I'm gonna be a model. Okay, not, you don't want to hurt feelings and say, no, you're not pretty. It's not that, but you gotta wonder, how did this happen? New sign of depression or anger, cutting something. Sudden academic decline, if you've got a really smart friend and all of a sudden they're just momming everything. Sudden change in friendships, relationships, uncharacteristically promiscuous behavior or referencing. Like, they never talked like that before, now all of a sudden they're talking like that all the time. Why? Signs of self-mutilation, use of terminology such as the game, the life, daddy, a manager, or a date or a trick. If you hear your friends or anybody using those terms, something's not right. That's not normal. Suicide attempts, start using drugs or alcohol. This isn't something they ever did before. And gang affiliation. Okay, so these are just the important takeaways for everybody. Stay informed. Set up a web alert to receive current human trafficking news. I didn't know you could do that, but you can. It's kind of cool. And when things like what happened in Johnson City, when that happened, you would get alerted about it. Again, my friend from ISP told me about that. C&M's Freedom Project. This is actually, you can look this up, that's stories from all around the world of sex trafficking things that are happening or have happened. Realize that this isn't just a big city problem. Know the indicators and educate your friends and family. And when you suspect human trafficking is taking place, talk to a trusted adult, teacher, friend, parent, or a friend, and alert the authorities. Those are some resources that are available. That's on the handout I'm going to give to you, so you'll have those. And now I want to ask you some questions. Let's see what you learned. Okay? I'm turning my laptop so you can see. All right. So, what are 3 tactics that are used by human traffickers to lure teens? Yes, Lucas?
College scouts pretend to be like sports scouts, you know?
Yeah. Offering something that you're smart. Look at you
It's
thinking.
one eye, yeah.
Good.
That one.
All right.
Like they think that they're going to try to help you or try to make them feel like you owe them.
Okay. One more.
Maybe like modeling.
Modeling.
Ask about modeling.
Very good. Okay. Even though you may not see yourself as one of these, but what are 3 at-risk populations that human traffickers use?
Delinquent juveniles.
Yeah. Okay.
Gangs.
Gangs.
The LGBTQ communities,
Yeah.
over half of the percentages from 2016.
Foster kids.
Very good. Nice, listened well. All right, prevention methods to decrease your vulnerability. What are some things you can do to decrease your risk of being targeted? Give me 2, Luke.
Be aware of your surroundings.
Be aware of your surroundings. Good.
Maybe when I go to sport outings, maybe not talk to any kind of sketchy looking scouts that might offer me stuff that I don't know anything about.
Okay. So let's just say, you know, if they are talking to you after the game, because a lot of people come up to you after the game, want to talk to you. Maybe stay close to the gym. Stay around adults that you know.
Okay.
You know, don't go to your car by yourself.
Don't walk alone.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. 2 more.
Check your car surroundings.
Yeah.
Go to the back of your car first. Look under, look in the back seat.
Good.
Hold your key in between your fingers.
Yes. You know, I actually do that. I
Do you
used
really?
to do it all the time. Yeah. Aunt Kelly told me that. My sister is a retired master sergeant with the state. She told me that. Okay, last one. Online risks associated with human trafficking. What are some of them?
Do
That
not
you need to be careful of.
do not put explicit photos out there, because then once they're out there, they're always out there.
That's right.
Don't put your full name ever.
One more big one I want to hear you guys say.
Oh, if you got random people liking and commenting on your post, that's bad.
Yeah, it's not good. Delete them.
You need to do your research on people.
Mm-hmm.
Private investigators.
Be a PI.
Be a
That's right.
PI.
Be a PI. Okay. All right, you guys did great. Okay. That's it. That's all I've got. Thank
Good job,
you.
Mom.